Yeah, what is going on, everybody? I am your host, Slackerz Game, and bringing you our next matchup in the Fighter Pass tournament. So, if you're new and you don't know what this is, it's basically a tournament where we just have a bunch of characters that are not represented in Smash Bros. In any way, and they all kind of face off against each other in, well, a tournament form. So, each day I upload one matchup, and we just vote for who we'd rather see in each matchup. For DLC and Smash Ultimate. So today's matchup is Spyro and Yoshimitsu. So the way to vote would be down in the comments by simply typing the name of either Spyro or Yoshimitsu, or if you absolutely really want both, you can vote both. That is fine. But one vote per person. Again, type one of those options down in the comments. That is how you vote. So voting stays open for 1 week. That way the tournament continues and just gets on with it. So with that out of the way, another thing, if voting ends in a tie, I will flip a coin on camera. Best way to break the tie instead of different ways. But there we go. I think those are all the rules, so we got to get into it. So we got to go over the results for last week's matchup, which was, who was it again? Sans taking on Lara Croft. And reading the comments, there was quite a bit of kind of back and forth. It was on the Sand side, there's a lot of people that were like, he's a meme, doesn't belong in Smash Bros, not going to vote for him. There's a lot of people who are saying Lara Croft is very iconic, and I agree that she's iconic. I just don't think, personally, nothing against the character, I just don't feel like she really fits in Smash Bros, but there's a lot of people that showed up to support her and vote for her. But in the end, Sans actually ended up winning 44 votes to 34. So congrats to Sans. You get to move on to face Chrono in the next round. So and then it is a double elimination tournament. Don't think I mentioned that. So if a character loses, they drop to the loser bracket. And once you lose in the loser bracket, you are done because double elimination tournament. So that means Lara Croft drops down to face last Dragonborn, which will happen on Wednesday, Thursday? This upcoming Friday. So Lara Croft will be back in no time. So today's matchup, like I said a bit earlier, is Spyro the Dragon taking on Yoshimitsu. And I kind of think Yoshimitsu is kind of a character that a lot of people are just not thinking of, but who probably has a legit chance to be in the discussion at least. But let's jump into it, right? So first up, Spyro, of course, the Reignited trilogy recently came out. It is not on the Switch, but I would not be surprised at any point in the near future or the future, maybe within the next year or so, that it does get ported over to the Switch. I mean, a lot of games get ported over the Switch. They sell very well. And, Spyro's kind of a character that kind of just fits the whole vibe and the theme of Smash Bros. And it comes from a company, Activision, who does not have a playable representative in Smash Bros. Yet. And while Activision is one of the bigger third-party companies out there, and I always say this, there's not a rule that, if you're a big third-party company, you have to get a character in Smash. It's not a rule, but Spyro's got to be in the conversation, right? He's a gaming legend, after all. I mean, for a long time, it was kind of him and Crash on the PlayStation, kind of the PlayStation, I guess, mascots, even though they were timed exclusives, and then they both kind of went and did their own separate things. Their exclusivity deal kind of ran up. Crash in itself kind of faded away, but also recently came back with remakes, and now the Crash Team Racing is coming out again, so that's cool for Crash. But Spyro kind of spun off, not a spin-off, but kind of, went on his own path. It had the Skylanders sort of thing, which was absolutely huge. So if we got an amiibo of Spyro, it's nothing new to him. I mean, Spyro, Skylanders, the Toys to Life thing, that is nothing new for that. And I believe Nintendo, I think I said this last time, but I think Nintendo and Activision, I think they worked on it to get, some sort of deal, because I think there was a Donkey Kong and a Bowser Skylander figure, if I'm not mistaken, but I think those were the only two. So it'd be kind of cool to see Spyro. He's definitely a legend, and people know who he is. And when it comes down to Nintendo trying to sell DLC, trying to sell people on whether it's just an individual fighter pack or the entire fighter pass, whatever it might be, characters like this can only help you sell even more stuff. So, I mean, if I was a person, I already bought the fighter pass, so whatever comes with it, I'm fine with whatever. So, but if I was a person that looked at the Fighter Pass and hypothetically, I know Joker's already the first character in the DLC Fighter Pass, but say Spyro was the first character, right? And I looked at that and went, okay, Spyro's cool. I know who he is. I think he would play extremely awesome. The amiibo figure would be insanely awesome to have as well in my collection. I'd be a little bit more inclined to, purchase the entire Fighter Pass rather than just the separate. So if Nintendo can hook you on one character, they might be able to hook you on the entire Fighter Pass. And again, it all comes down to DLC. You got to make the money. DLC is going to sell. I mean, it is Smash Bros. After all. It is going to sell, but bigger characters, the characters that people really do want, it's just going to help out both sides. So Nintendo's sitting in a good spot with whoever they might have chosen for DLC. We'll see who eventually, because we still ain't no Joker. Sure, there's rumors and leaks all over the place, but we'll see what ends up happening. So Spyro, I think, has definitely got to be, high on the list of candidates to be playable in Smash Ultimate. So moving on to Spyro's opponent, a character that I don't expect to be, a DLC fighter, but if it happened, I don't think anybody should be surprised at all. I mean, after all, Yoshimitsu is from the Soul Calibur / Tekken series, a Bandai game. Bandai is working on Smash Bros, helping out Nintendo with that. So Nintendo could just go to Bandai, and again, I say this all the time, but it's, a very good possibility. They could be like, yo, thank you again for helping out. We want to, here's our way of showing thanks. Let's give you a DLC fighter in Smash Bros. And then we could maybe split the profits like 50-50, whatever it might be. Nintendo just kind of showing their gratitude towards Bandai for that. And sure, Bandai might have a few other, more, I guess, maybe notable, maybe likely characters. You could say maybe Digimon, maybe somebody else from Soul Calibur. There's a lot. Lloyd Irving. There's a lot that Bandai has to pull from. But Yoshimitsu is already a natural fighter. He comes from 2 fighting games, first of all. Has an extremely awesome personality. He's kind of a little bit wacky, a little bit out there. He's got a cool moveset. He's a character that's already made. He's got all these sorts of, you could say, wacky kind of designs or badass designs, whatever you want to say for him. So he'd kind of be another sword user, but he's more than just a sword user. And when you can bring a bit more versatility to a moveset, especially if you're a sword user and you can use more than, just your sword, I think it only can help you stand out from the crowd a bit more. And to me, I look at the character, such as Yoshimitsu, and I just think, this is such a good idea. It would be such a cool idea to have this character. Sure, he's a bit more, maybe, how do I want to... Like I said, maybe unlikely. He might not be the most likely, but if it happens, you can't be surprised, really. I mean, look at Bandai's working on the game. They have these fighting games. They have Tekken. They have Soul Calibur. I mean, the ingredients are there for Bandai to get one of their fighting game reps potentially in Smash Bros. As a DLC fighter. And since Yoshimitsu, I bring this up because he's crossed over into 2 different games. So, I mean, crossing over into Smash Bros. Wouldn't be, out of the stretch of the imagination whatsoever. It, is perfectly logical. It could definitely happen. But I guess for me, who would I like to see? Personally, I'm voting Spyro. I think he just fits, the whole feel, the vibe of Smash better than Yoshimitsu. Although I'd be completely fine if Yoshimitsu were indeed DLC fighter. But for me, I'm voting Spyro. I just think I just rather see Spyro going up against characters like Mario and Link and Cloud and Sonic and Pac-Man and Mega Man. You get, all these like legendary iconic characters. Spyro fits that very well, and I'd love to see that. So my vote is for Spyro. So I guess the only question left is who you're going to vote for. And again, your options are either option A, Spyro, option B, Yoshimitsu, or if you absolutely really want both the characters, you can vote for both. Just simply type it down in the comments. So looks like we got to give you the sneak peek for tomorrow's episode. So tomorrow's Tomorrow's matchup is going to be Slime from the Dragon Quest series. Slime does not do well in these tournaments. There's no support for him. I don't see a lot of people, but he's a possibility at least. But Slime from the Dragon Quest series taking on Tracer from Overwatch. Could happen. And then we will get the results of who? Geralt and Banjo. Okay. That should be interesting. Geralt, another character that's kind of under the radar, but don't be surprised if maybe it does happen. He's already crossed over into Soul Calibur for fighting game, so that could be interesting. But Geralt, Banjo, that's the results for tomorrow. The matchup, Slime and Tracer. So anyway, that is going to be it for this one. Again, leave your votes down in the comments. So with that being said, this video is coming to an end. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I look forward to your voting as always, and hopefully we'll catch you on the next one. Peace out, everybody.